Okay, today we're gonna dive into Go-Go Town, developed by Prideful Sloth. And y'all, why didn't I play this game sooner? And apparently it played beautifully on the Steam Deck from day one too. So now, I know it had growing pains, but still, y'all, this game is a gem. This is a quirky town building sim where you're suddenly thrown into this rusty, dusty town as the new mayor, where you're tasked with reviving it and convincing tourists to stay, move in, and work for you. You'll need to build businesses, neighborhoods, manage supply deliveries, run shops, and keep the place clean and tidy at all times. This game is available on Steam and the Nintendo Switch 1 and 2, and supports up to 4 mayors in multiplayer where you can build, supply, and design together. Heads up, crossplay isn't available just yet, and so you all will need to play on the same system. Prideful Sloth actually began developing this game back in 2022, about 2 years before it hit early access in 2024. This 1.0 launch introduces clean and new features such as creative mode, a new museum collection system, off-road driving, a vehicle garage, a lost and found station, and even a rebuy system for unlocked items. They've also introduced some fun pest control mechanics and an updated tutorial that's perfect for new players. What's even better is that with the 1.0 update, they've removed the time limit for leveling up your town, which helps the entire experience feel more casual and stress-free. Also, a huge thank you to the team for gifting me a key for this game so that I can share my thoughts with you all. I played for about 30 hours and I am nowhere near completing this game, and so there's definitely some stuff that I have yet to discover, but I tell you what, I don't put these kind of hours in a fresh game unless I really like it. Time is limited and I'm on teacher time on top of that. When you first load up the game, you have the option to choose story mode or creative mode. If it's your first time, I definitely recommend choosing story mode so that you can follow along with the tasks as they come, because y'all, this game is a lot. You choose a town name and then you can decide if you want to go through the tutorial or not. The tutorial will walk you through all of the important mechanics that you'll need to know. It does throw everything at you at once, even if some of the mechanics won't be unlocked until much later. It takes roughly around 15 minutes to complete, and then you'll arrive at your town. Once you've arrived, you will follow the tasks given and pinned in the top right corner, which makes it really easy to have a clear direction. You follow the steps and you will progress the story. Simple. This is pretty much the loop you will follow as you're playing, except the goal is to have the highest ranking town in each tier. As tourists come and visit, you must leave a good impression on them, and so they will leave a like and boost your town ranking and give you ego points, which will help you unlock things. You will do this by constructing shops, homes, decorations, and providing entertainment for them. So as you get likes, you get ego points, which helps you get tourist attractions and shops, which then will give you more likes and more ego points. So yeah, you get the idea. Sounds simple, but when it's just you, it can be very overwhelming, but not in a negative way, in a like, you'll just be very busy kind of way. Also, ego points are capped at specific numbers based on the tier that you're in. So you might be able to only hold like 200 ego points at that level. This is just to prevent you from spam buying attractions and shops. There are 4 specific locations in your town. There's the mining zone, the forestry zone, the farming zone, and the fishing zone. Anything you need done related to that task, like cutting trees, for example, needs to be done within the space of that specific zone, like the forestry zone. So you will need to gather raw materials by chopping wood with your chainsaw and mining with your drill. Then you will use items like a table saw or a foundry to turn wood into planks and stones into bricks. This is the beginning of building homes, shops, statues, and pretty much everything in the game. You will take raw materials, use a machine to transform them, and use those materials to build. That is the constant loop in the beginning. Once you're able to build shops, then you will need to make sure they have a worker. These are the tourists that come into town and provide little quests for you. And once you complete those quests, then you'll be able to invite them into your town, but they must have somewhere to live, whether it's a tent or it's an apartment, and they have to be assigned to it. Once that's done and they're assigned to their home and their shop, then you are in charge of making sure their shop is fully stocked. This is the other constant loop of going around and gathering supplies and delivering them all on your own at the beginning. Now, eventually, as you develop, you will expand and unlock farming, fishing, workers for those areas, the ability to hire couriers, unlock subways, and much, much more. Also, these tourists are filthy and they make a huge mess, and so you have to clean up after them constantly, or else. Nah, like for real, y'all, I would craft trash bins and put them beside food shops, and I would watch those tourists take their trash, look at the trash bin, and then just fling it on the ground. Oh, it tore me up. I was like, it's right there, just throw it in the trash can. It wasn't full or nothing. Like I said earlier, you will progress the story by making sure your visitors are happy, entertained, and safe from constantly being ran over. You'll be able to see your progression in the top right corner, and you're also able to check the stats in your phone. You can see where you are on the leaderboard, and you can also check out the reviews from the tourists. I will say that I actually found unlocking the tiers happened way faster than I was prepared for. Maybe at the earliest of beginnings, it was paced well, but then after that, I felt like I was unlocking things so quickly that I didn't get a chance to actually check out the things I've previously unlocked. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It would definitely be more stressful grinding in hopes that things will unlock, but once you have the town pretty much running on its own, it's easier to have the tiers unlocked. This is where you want to take time to prioritize decorating and designing your town. It's extremely easy to pick up buildings and place them elsewhere, change designs and colors of apartments, place roads and sidewalks without costing you anything or using any kind of stamina bar. You definitely have complete creative freedom here, and this is where the game shines. We often play games where we want to decorate and make the space look aesthetically pleasing, but nah, we got to worry about that stamina bar or costing us an arm and a left leg just to move a building. Hello, Tom Nook. This game erases all of that. You can go all in with nothing holding you back. Now, of course, decor items could cost money and buildings have to be built, but placing them, changing colors, creating roads and sidewalks are all available for the free. While you're decorating and designing, you will also want to explore. This game is filled with so many hidden secrets. It's such a joy once you discover them. The tourists will have quests for you, and some of them require you to go exploring in order to find random items that they've lost. This helps you get a break from the constant management loop. As you're exploring, you will find all of these random vehicles to drive, from a little bike to a flying broomstick, and you're able to keep and collect them all, which is great and perfect for getting around your town, which will expand as you unlock more zones. Again, exploring is a highlight of this game, and so make sure to take lots of time to do that once your town is more automated. The game will also throw these random events at you. Now, some are the results of your own poor actions, but some are completely random and unexplained. For example, if you do not keep your town clean, these garbirds will come into town and terrorize your tourists and townsfolk. And in order to get them to leave, you have to honk your horn at them or give them a high five. Not sure why that works, but hey, it works. Garbirds, or also known as bin chickens, are birds who search for food from garbage bins, and so make sure you just keep your town clean. All in all, I love that you're never stuck doing one thing, which can get very boring very fast. One minute you're making sure all of your shops and businesses are fully supplied, then the next you're making sure the town is clean, but you're also decorating each street and placing new buildings, but you're also exploring, but you're also getting some coffee at your coffee shop. Oh, and I forgot to mention that you will also be able to collect things like fish, insects, gems, fossils, and artifacts, and you can display them at the town hall like a museum, so that's something to also work on. Now, I just threw all of that at you and you're wondering, Yans, where's the cozy in this game? This sounds super stressful. Don't worry, let's get into it. First, let's talk about the art style, which leans more cartoonish. Think of like a toy kind of world, and it's very bright and colorful. Some folks feel like this game is aimed more for a younger audience, but I think that's just because of how it looks and how silly it is. Everything doesn't have to be super intense. We have real life for that. This is just a nice, quirky space to escape. As far as the music, you have the option to turn streamer mode on or off, which will present you with different playlists. Both have very relaxing and upbeat songs that fit the vibe of the game. You will hear lo-fi and chill hop, indie pop, electro swing, and more acoustic tracks. Of course, you can always just play your own music or listen to podcasts like I do, but the music is there and it's consistent. The sound effects work well too. It never overpowers the game. It just blends in and makes sense. I really like hearing the different sounds coming from the different forms of vehicles and transportation. The bubble gun that you use to clean up spills in the town in Dirty Tourist sounds exactly like what you think it would, and delivering trash to the garbage disposal sounds exactly like the game Cleaning Up, which you should also check out, by the way. They've handled sound effects and ambient sounds really well in this game. What I love was seeing the attention to detail inside the shops and buildings, with the decor items to even just the animation. You can tell that a lot of time and effort was put into even the smallest of things, and that's worth celebrating. For example, you can see posters of games like The Plucky Squire and Unpacking as little pop culture nods from the developers. The Plucky Squire is a storybook adventure, and Unpacking is all about organization. Sounds familiar? A lot of folks describe this game as being like Animal Crossing, and even though it has small elements of Animal Crossing, y'all, it's nothing like Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing focuses more on decorating and vibing out with your neighbors, whereas Go-Go Town is focused more on town management. This game will remind you of other types of games, especially with certain features and mechanics, but it is definitely in its own lane. Now, as far as it being considered cozy, I think it is once you get through the initial hour and a half to 2 hours. The beginning of the game is supposed to feel a bit like a struggle since you're handling everything yourself, and as you hand off tasks to workers, it gets easier and easier. But the beginning doesn't feel cozy, and even moments later in the game, it feels a bit chaotic too, but it does level out. Once everything is automated and you have maintenance workers, couriers, farmers, etc., then I think it will definitely feel a lot more cozy. You can also close the train entrance so new tourists don't come, so that you can catch your breath and catch up on things, so that's also nice. Here's the thing though, even when things are chaotic and crazy, there's no major penalty. Yeah, you might get a bad review or a swarm of garbirds attack the town and terrorize everyone, but it's nothing that you can't fix or redeem. Even running over the townsfolk won't mess you up completely, because I ran over so many of them, but if they would just stay off the road, we would be good. Like I said, I've been playing for 30 hours and I don't feel stressed at all playing. Now, I did in the beginning. I was like, where are those couriers? I need them to deliver this stuff. I'm tired. But now I spend more time organizing each zone by labeling storage containers, redesigning apartments, finding new vehicles, and adding new shops. And I finally got my coffee shop where I sell coffee and tea, and I also have my noodle bar, so I'm happy. I think I could go ahead and place a bakery too, and then after that I'll feel complete. I bought this game on Steam, and so I could play it on the Steam Deck as well. On the PC, it runs really, really well, and it's the same with the Steam Deck. It's a much better experience when it's handheld, in my opinion. That's where I played the most hours. It ran really smooth overall. I did have one moment where my character tried to ride one of the rides and it didn't move, so I hopped out, and when I hopped back in, it worked, but that's it, and that's super minor. The UI navigation is where I struggled the most. Now, it might just be me, but just starting out, it felt really unnatural to move through each of the build tools and placing items and just navigating through it all. It felt like there were just double buttons or something. There was a lot to remember. Even now, it still feels really weird to play something, but then to move it, you have to press L2, R2, or the triggers to switch to the move control, and then use those buttons to switch back to build, but then use R1, L1, or the bumpers to switch to different types of builds, and then press and hold square to buy the object again. I mean, it's a lot. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, but it takes a minute for like my brain to understand what I'm doing. Again, that might just be me, and it does get easier the more you play, but sometimes I end up placing things by accident and having to go through the whole process to change it. It's just a lot. With the camera controls, the movement is smooth and it's easy to rotate and zoom, but the position is in an aerial view and you're unable to look ahead of you. There were so many times I wished I could, especially when I was driving, but you can always zoom out and see where you're going. But yeah, you stuck looking from above. Then lastly, there's multiplayer. One person has the base town and they invite other players up to 3 to join in. Now, I did this with story mode as well, but all of the tasks are the exact same. You just have more help, which makes it easier. The money and the ego points are shared, and so you do have to rely on communication when playing, but it was a pretty good experience as well. All players have complete creative freedom with placing buildings and shops, and you can still run over each other, and you can even high five and play rock, paper, scissors. Unfortunately, crossplay isn't available, and so you will need to have it on the same system in order to play together. at this time. Go-Go Town is a super fun experience, and I am thoroughly enjoying playing it and seeing my little town come to life. I love that I can at any time change the layout if I don't like it, and I like having control over what types of shops I have in my town. My favorite part right now is definitely exploring and seeing the random things I come across and the little Easter eggs placed throughout the game. Once you get through the initial struggle, it's a more chill and quirky game, and it doesn't get the recognition that it deserves in my opinion. The only thing that holds me up is the confusing UI navigation. I think if you like having clear tasks and goals to work towards, you like having a game that makes you feel like you're organized, and you like decorating plots of land, then Go-Go Town would definitely be for you. However, if you do not like town management games like at all, and you get very confused very easily, and you don't like designing spaces and decorating them, then Go-Go Town might be a miss. I think you have to be able to juggle between management and decorating and designing, so if either one of those doesn't interest you at all, then I would skip it because it probably wouldn't hold your attention for very long. Overall, I think the 1.0 release is a well-polished game, and like I said, this game needs way more recognition because it's just so silly and so lovable. I'm not into town management games like that, but this one has set the bar real high for me. I'm gonna keep playing because I haven't unlocked everything yet, but let me know in the comments if you're thinking about picking this one up, or if you've played it, what is your favorite part of the game? I wanna know. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and yapping about this game and its official release. If you enjoyed it and you like discussing games, please give this video a like. It really helps my channel, y'all. And don't forget to subscribe. I would really, really appreciate it. I have the first 2.5 hours of gameplay here if you want to watch it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!